Okay, so we are going to talk about decimal place value. Again, we talked about it on Friday or the other time in math class. We are doing a continuation of that. So in your table of contents, you can either keep just 3 decimal place value, or you can add to the 4th line and just put decimal place value again. Oh, my E got weird there. Because it's going to be the same thing. It's totally up to you, and we will have a new title page, so you might want to add it to your number 4. But that's up to you. In the table of contents, we're doing decimal place value. You might even want to call it part 2, continuation of the first one. So like I said, you're still going to have a title on there, decimal place value, our I can statement. I can tell the place value name, the worth of the decimals. Ooh, there should be a comma right there. Let me put one of those in there. Oop. And write it in different forms. And I should have totally had a period there. Got to make sure I use all my correct punctuation as we're talking about types of sentences and stuff. So we are going to be mastering that I can statement. We started working on this the last math class, getting our minds ready, growing our minds just a little bit more and a little bit more. Remembering that a whole number is a number that is a complete set of something. So I have 17 whole pizzas. But if I take those pizzas and I cut one of them up, a slice from that pizza is going to be part of a whole. I drew the picture before, one pizza. That's a whole pizza, but if I say, oh, yep, someone took a slice out of this one, that would mean this little slice piece here is a decimal, and what's left is also a decimal because it's all parts of a whole. We see this a ton in math. Decimals are 5th grade. That's our one of the main things we talk about, decimals and fractions, because both of these pieces, decimals and fractions, are part of a whole. Remember, if at any time you need some more time to write down what I have in my notes, you should go ahead and pause the video, take care of that, but remember to pause it within the time frame because you are going to have to finish these notes before you rotate to my table. Some of this extra drawing here that I do, you don't have to have, like this beautiful picture of a pizza. Do not include that in your notes. It's okay. You don't have to. I mean, unless you can get it as beautiful as this. But if you need to, you should get all the information written down. And like I have been, I will check it when you come to the table. So this is the 3rd time we've seen something like this in our notes. We're going to talk about standard form. Standard form is just the number itself. And this actually has the decimal in there, so it's just the numbers 63.4950 standard form. We're going to talk a lot about this expanded form notation. We've been practicing this, taking each one of the digits out and showing what it represents. Okay, so this 6 is not just a 6, it's 60. This 3 is not just a 3, it means 3 items. This 4 is not just 4, it's 0.4. So we're going to really focus on expanded notation today, or expanded form, and writing it this way, and then we're going to add a little bit extra to it today. Word form, we would say 63. That's the stuff that's in front. This is the whole number. There are 63 whole items. Our decimal, when we write it out in word form, and then this number back here we say as a whole, kind of like if this wasn't even here, we say 4,957. And then when I'm ready to write it, 4,957, I have to include that last place value. And I showed you on your fingers where you could say, okay, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. So that would be our last spot down here, our 10,000ths. Get this written down because the next couple of screens are going to go fast. So here we're going to practice putting this into place. You have this number right here written in word form. It's word form because, hey, I see the words. 3 and 576 thousandths. Okay, so this right here tells me the place value, how many we're going to have. Notice too that I have an and in there, which tells me I'm going to have a decimal. So I'm going to write this at the bottom. This is one of those times when you want to go ahead and write exactly the extra that I'm writing here. So the and in there said I had a decimal, so here's my decimal. Then the thousandths told me that I'm going to have some decimals back here, so I'm going to go tenths, hundredths, thousandths will be the last number of my decimal. So now I'm going to look at the stuff that's in front of it. There's a 3. That's all that's there, so we only have 3 holes. Then I'm going to look at this. How would I write 576? Okay, I know I need 3 spots, so I have 576. It's all a process where we are able to write those, take those clues in our math clues, thousandths, the and be able to put a number together using all those clues. Let's try another one. And yes, I do want you to add this to your notebook, even though it's not written on notebook paper. Okay, the next one, we're going to go ahead and get our math detective skills out here, and we're going to look. We have 27 and 30 thousandths. So this is my decimal spot. I have my and right there, so I'm going to go ahead and put my decimal down, and it says thousandths, so I'm going to go tenths, hundredths, thousandths. I have to have 3 numbers behind the decimal. In front of the and, I have 27, so I'm going to write 27, and behind I have 30 thousandths. Well, I know the number 30 looks like this, but that's only taking up 2 blanks. So that means that I'm going to have to add something extra to hold my place. This 0 has to be in the thousandths place, so I'm going to put that 0 there, and I'm going to work kind of backwards. Now, we've talked about equivalent equivalent decimals. This 0 doesn't even have to be there. I could take and make this completely this. It would change the word form. Instead of saying 27, I want to move that. Let's try down here. 27 and 30 thousandths, it would say 27 and 300ths. But that means the same thing as 27 and 30 thousandths. Okay, now we're going to try to put this one into word form. And we're going to also try to do it in expanded notation. So we would take the number that's in front of the decimal first. We would say 8. And I'm not sure if my typing is coming up, so I'm going to go quickly here. The number behind, I see 541. Then I have to know the place value, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Voila! And I am all done. 8 and 541 thousandths. I used what's in front. I used that decimal as the and, 541, and I used that place value thousandths. Now, here's the tricky part where we're going to talk about how we go to expanded notation or expanded form. We already talked about that 8 is going to be worth 8. But that 5 is not worth 5. It is worth 5/10. So it looks like this. That 4 is not worth 4. It's worth 4/100ths. That 1 is not worth 1. It's worth 1/1000ths. I'm going to throw a new tricky thing in the mix. I'm going to say, I'm going to do some multiplying too. I want to get 8. It's in the 1's place value, so I'm going to times it by 1. I'm going to add it to this the tenths place value right here. I'm going to say, hey, the tenths place value represented as a fraction looks like this, 1/10. If I times it by 5, I will get 0.5. I'm going to take that 4. I want to get hundredths, so I'm going to times it by the the fraction value, 1/100ths. And then I'm going to do this last one. I hope you're saying right now, oh my, mind blown. Because this is some brand new information. This is the major guts of what we're working on today, is how we write expanded notation with those fractions instead of just the decimal. We talked about how we did the decimal last time. Now we're working in those fractions there to make sure that we're writing our expanded notation the correct way. Since I know my time is almost up, I went ahead and did this one in expanded notation, and we're going to write it out in standard form, which just means the number. So we're going to think, okay, 2 times 1, well, that's 2. Remember that it'll be in the ones place value because it's timesing by 1. Then I see my fractions start. Once my fractions start, I know I'm dealing with decimals. So I'm going to throw a decimal down there. Well, here's my first fraction. Let me do some erasing because now it's all clouded up with my marks. So we're going to look at this first one right here, and we see that the fraction behind it is 1/10, which means it will be in the tenths place value. And when I take that and put that 5 there, bam, that's what it becomes. Done with this one, done with this one. Now here we're to the hundredths place value, which just happens to be right behind the tenths. We'll put a 7 there. Done with that one, and now we're in the thousandths, so we need a 9 in the thousandth zone. So here is my number written in standard form. Now I could write this out in word form. It would be 2 decimal means we say and 500 79 tenths, hundredths, thousandths. There we go. My time is running short. You will be coming to the table pretty soon, and we will be talking about this expanded notation hardcore because it's a brand new thing that you are learning this year. So if you finish the video before time is up, man, that's amazing. If you have not finished the video, I understand because this was a long video. Hopefully a lot of it was my talking and not you writing, because that's not the point. I want you guys to be able to be learning and growing your brains and getting new wrinkles on those brains. Either way, hopefully this is all done. We'll figure it out once you come to the table, and we will work with this new concept that you are learning today. As far as the secret number, I have not had one person try to guess it yet, so I'm just going to leave you with the 3 clues that I've already given you. That the number is 4 digits long, that it is odd, and that in the thousands place there's a 3. So keep working on that. See if you can guess that secret number, and we'll keep working. As always, happy mathing.